Okay. Okay, we're getting back to YouTube. Okay, we're good. I apologize, everyone. Okay. So, were we ever live? I don't think we were live. Shoot. Yeah, we weren't live. Gosh dang it. My silliness. You know what? Let's start out fresh. Let's restart this. No wonder no one was talking in the chat. Okay. Run the intro again. Did the mic pick that up? Okay. So this has been a bit of a fiasco. I am starting everything over. Everything has been started over. But for those of you who missed it, this is my second time starting this episode. Everyone on Twitch has seen it, which by the way, we are streaming to Twitch now. We are streaming to Facebook now because I got a new software that can multi-stream to everywhere. But boy, was getting this stream started like the most hectic thing. I started late because I wasn't quite ready, and then I get the stream started and my camera isn't even on, and I do this whole thing, and then something wrong happens with the stream, but then I realize that we're not even streaming to YouTube. But now we are. So, boy, this week, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with me. But now I've talked about, I already kind of talked about what I wanted to say in the intro, and now I'm like, okay, what do I talk about now? But whatever. So yes, we're streaming live to YouTube and Twitch, and should be streaming to Facebook right now. And I'm making sure that we're recording because last time I forgot to hit record because I need to save the video files for myself to put up the audio version. But here's the thing, I think things are probably going to be different from now on with the audio version. And that's because Anchor, which is what I use to distribute my podcast, I'm sure you've heard in the ads, they're like, now you're going to be able to do video podcasts on Spotify, which, as far as I knew, Joe Rogan was the only one able to do that. I mean, maybe there were others, but he was the only one that I listened to that could do that. But now we can. So, and once I do that, that's going to be able to distribute the episode automatically as an audio format. So that's probably, I don't know if that's going to save time for me or like make more time. I don't know, because I'm gonna want to trim out at the beginning segments to make things seem cleaner, but you know, um yeah, so let's see what else is different. Oh yes, streaming to multiple platforms now, to Twitch and to YouTube and to Facebook. So that's going to be different now. So if you want to watch on Twitch, you can find me. I'm Clifford Today. Twitch.com/I'm Clifford Today. No apostrophes, no spaces or anything. Just I'm Clifford Today. And if you're on Twitch, if you are on YouTube, of course you can find me. YouTube.com/I'm Clifford Today. Same for Facebook. If you want to watch me on Facebook, I'll be on there too. Facebook.com/I'm Clifford Today. And you can catch the show and you can chat. And yeah. So that's what's different. And let me think. What else is there? I got a new setup. So if anyone wants to join in on the chat, you can do that, and your chat's going to show up on the screen. So it's going to be kind of like just like it is on Twitch. And I also have alerts up. So like if people follow or subscribe, that might just be for Twitch though. If people follow and subscribe on Twitch, you'll get alerts. I'm going to work on making my own custom alerts, but now I'm just kind of using the default Twitch, the default Streamlab alerts. So, but don't worry, anyone listening to the audio version won't even matter. But yeah. So today, today's going to be a pretty chill episode, despite the chaotic beginning that we've had. Nonetheless, so first of all, I wanted to give an update. Oh yeah, intro music by John Bartman. JohnBartman.com. And usually I would mention the Q&A that we're going to do, but I'm going to keep this whole episode basically open as a Q&A, because we're going to be a little loosey-goosey, and that's okay. But going to be a more relaxed episode. Which, by the way, the last episode that we had was a lot of fun. Had a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, just a handful of people. Hi, Clifford Today. Hi, Basement Guitar Superstar. Thanks for watching. Which, by the way, if you can become Clifford Today too, if you subscribe. That's the only thing that makes you Clifford Today. So everyone who subscribed to me becomes Clifford Today. So yeah, this episode is going to be a little bit more chill, because we want to talk about the latest video that I did. Actual video, not like live stream video. A video that I worked hard on to edit. If you could be a coniferous or deciduous tree, which type of tree would you be and why? Dude, those are too big of words. Why don't you're showing your smarts to me? How dare you? I don't even know. I can't even remember the difference. Dude, like I I did not register hardly anything that I learned in school, honestly. Especially science. Um I guess this is Lisa's brother. Hey Dan, how's it going? Glad to have you watching the show. I don't know. I mean, I guess a specific type of tree. I don't know if it's coniferous or deciduous. I don't know. But my favorite tree has always been evergreen. Yeah, I know that's probably a norm. I don't know if that's a normie thing to say, but evergreen, whatever that one is. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about a video that I did recently, The Goodest of the Bad, and I worked a long time on this video. Months. Longer than it really should have been. Coniferous, then. Okay, thanks, Dan. I have learned a thing today. Evergreen is a coniferous. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, so The Goodest of the Bad. Let me see if I can. Nope, I'm not gonna mess with that. I worked a long time on this video, longer than I should have. We recorded everything in like December. That's how long it took me. A big reason why I pronounced it right. Okay, good. Thanks, Dan. Well, for one thing, my computer kind of sucks. It's really slow, and I use DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos. And DaVinci Resolve is a great program for what it is. It uses, I mean, it's basically almost the same kind of interface as like Final Cut, I think. I think that's what I'm thinking about. I don't know. I've never really used it, but I've seen people use it. And it's very easy to use, but it's still like pretty advanced, especially for a free program. But like, man, on this computer, everything is slow. Everything is such a slow process. And like, because my computer sucks so much, it takes so much time to do anything. And so and also because of that, it made me less motivated to want to edit, you know? So there was that. And also, this isn't my full-time job. It's pretty have I run the defragmenter? No. Maybe I should try that. But I think the thing is that I need a new computer anyways, because this is an old computer and I can't get any updates on this computer. Like, Apple has decided that this computer, it's an iMac, is too old to get any updates now. So I can't update to the latest OS system. Wow, that was redundant. I can't update to the latest operating system. And I kind of want to upgrade from DaVinci to something. I want to upgrade to a lot of things. When it comes to my music, I want to upgrade to Logic. And I can't get Logic because my computer's too old. My operating system is too old. So anyways, I'll stop complaining about that. Basically, it took forever for this video to get made, and I worked a long time on it, and I'm super glad that it's out. And I honestly think that it's one of definitely one of the best videos I've ever worked on. Here, let's get this to some good quality. Dan says that would help immensely with the speed. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I guess I'm not that computer savvy. I forgot about defragmenting. I'll have to look into that, but thanks. But yeah, I'm super proud of this video. It was a lot of fun, despite all the grueling experiences of getting this edited. And it was just a lot of fun to record it with Mitchell, to watch the movies with him and record our commentary, and to talk about it later. I'm super glad for Chad Barth for lending us his studio and his camera equipment. I mean, I want to break into his home and steal his camera equipment because it looks so good. Although it was because of the quality of the camera, I feel like that was a big reason why it was also a slow process in getting this video made. Is because it's such good quality that I felt like that DaVinci couldn't really handle it. But it's a long video, and you know, a few people have watched it. If you guys haven't watched it, I would encourage you to watch it because it is fun. I watched it together with Mitchell, and he usually doesn't watch my videos, but he really loved the video and thought that it was very entertaining. You know, not because he was in the video, of course. So, and yeah, I stole Red Letter Media's format with the best of the worst. And I changed it to the goodest of the bad. I wanted to be very obvious with the inspiration for the video so that people didn't think, oh, you're like subtly stealing from Red Letter Media. Like, no, I'm pretty obvious that I took this idea from them. I mean, I picked my own movies to watch, some movies that they haven't watched before. Because, of course, Red Letter Media doesn't really watch. They don't go out of their way to watch Christian movies. But, yeah, it was just super fun. And I just wanted to talk about it and give my any extra thoughts that I have that didn't make it in the video. And I wanted to talk about my favorite moments from the show. Now I'm not sure. Let's see. How long has this show been going? It's been about 20 minutes on YouTube since I actually started the show. Okay. Look into VideoPad video editor. Dance from Basement Guitar Superstar. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of it, but you know, and it's not that I don't like DaVinci. I just wish it's mostly just my computer. I wish my computer was just better. But yeah, so sorry, I'll get out of this view so that it's not disorienting everyone. But one thing I wanted to bring up in terms of this conversation about Christian movies, and we kind of got into it a little bit in the last episode with my friend Steven's question about Christians in art and entertainment. But I wanted to talk about, like, what do I mean by Christian movie? Because I believe that Christians kind of suck at making Christian movies. But here's the thing, is that it really depends on what you call a Christian movie. And I've realized that I think that there are 3 categories when it comes to Christian movies. And I've kind of made this up myself, but I think it makes sense. Because you need to be able to differentiate between like a God's Not Dead, excuse me, and I'm gonna sneeze again. I'm sorry, my nose is stuffy. So we need to be able to differentiate between a God's Not Dead and say like a Martin Scorsese film. And we're going to talk about that very briefly. But yeah, I have 3 categories when it comes to Christian movies. The first category, and I haven't really written all this down, so I'll try to be as articulate as possible. First, let me get out of this view. I don't really need to be in this view right now, since we're not going to watch it just yet. The first category of Christian movies is I'll call the Christian movies. Like, these are the Christianest of the Christian movies. And what qualifies a Christian movie, like what is the criteria of a Christian movie, is that it is made by Christians, made by a Christian studio, and distributed by, a Christian production company or whatever, and distributed in Christian bookstores. And even though I don't think Christian bookstores really even exist anymore, and they are put in the Christian section in Walmart. Is there a Christian section? I don't even know. But they're put in the Christian sections of movies, and they're just Christian. They're the actors, most of the actors at least in there are Christians. It has a very Christian message. It has the intention of speaking a Christian message to the world. Everything is Christian. Made by Christians, maybe even for Christians. I don't know. Hi, Bubby. Hi, baby. Lisa's here in the chat today. My moderator, my manager for the show. So yeah, and those movies would include like your God's Not Deads, and they're also very independent. They're not distributed by Disney or whatever. God's Not Deads, all the movies that we watched in the show, Extreme Days, To Save a Life. Like, those are your Christian movies. That's the first category. And usually when I talk about Christian movies and about how much they suck, I'm usually talking about those kinds of movies. And I have not been able to find any exceptions to the rule, really, that I can think of. Except I did enjoy... Sorry, I have my texts on. I don't know if you heard that. I should make sure that I turn those off. I forgot what I was saying. Usually those are the movies that I'm talking about when I say that Christian movies suck. And so that's the first category. The second category, you have your mainstream Christian movies. And what I mean by that is, and by the way, sometimes the lines between these categories can be blurred, because sometimes it can be subjective, or it can be debatable about what movie fits into what category. But in your major, not major, in your mainstream Christian movies, you have movies that are distributed by, you know, the bigger companies like Disney, Fox. Well, I guess Fox is owned by Disney. But Fox used to produce a lot of Christian movies, actually. All those people, and it is distributed by them, but the film still has the intention of being like a very Christian film, having a Christian message, and even marketed to a Christian audience. The script has an obvious Christian message to it, even though it may not be as preachy as others and outright, and maybe just a little bit more, a little bit more accessible to a wider audience. And those films, I think, and a lot of them are like Bible story movies. You have your Prince of Egypt's. You have your, like the Ten Commandments and all the classic movies like Ben-Hur. And I know we talked about this in the last episode, but there's the film Amazing Grace. That was a big, major motion picture made by a secular studio. And I'm sure that Ioan Grufford, I don't know how you pronounce his name, the main actor in it. I don't know whether he's like a Christian or not. Benedict Cumberbatch is in that movie. I doubt that he's a Christian. I could be wrong though. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden judging people right now, but yeah, you have your Amazing Graces. You have the Passion of the Christ, very Christian message. I know that Mel Gibson is a Catholic, but it was produced by a secular studio, and it was released, all in all the theaters. So it was a mainstream movie. Another film that I think about, a movie that I liked. I haven't seen it in a while though, but it's a movie called Luther, and it tells the story of Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr., but Martin Luther, like the father of the Reformation and such. And that was portrayed by Joseph Fiennes, who I think is the brother of Ralph Fiennes, the guy who does Voldemort. But that was a good movie. But I'm pretty sure it was produced by MGM Studios. So those are the movies that I think would fit into that category, mainstream Christian movies. And there is some, like I said, sometimes the lines can be blurred. Third category is a very interesting category, and the third category is there are films that are usually produced by, a bigger studio and released on a wide scale for everyone to see, but they're not like the most Christian films. In fact, they don't really have much. They usually don't have really a hardcore Christian message. That's not its goal. It's more just a movie that happens to have a lot of religious themes to it. And maybe the intention of the script of the film is to explore these religious ideas, but it's not meant to like beat you over the head with a religious message, a Christian message. It's more meant to make you think about it, and it's meant to be a little bit more accessible to anyone to watch. And sometimes, in my opinion, sometimes those movies can really miss the mark because um, some directors like to explore things a little bit too far. But they're released by, major motion picture studios, and they're released by the secular studios, maybe not even necessarily made by Christians or made with Christians in mind, but they explore Christian themes. Movies that I think fit into that category are, like Martin Scorsese films. The two movies that he's done that explore religious ideas, and one of them I definitely prefer over the other. Silence is a great film, and you can argue that it has a very Christian message, but it definitely is meant more to explore these ideas rather than preach it to you, and it's more accessible for. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people that helped out with that film maybe are probably not Christians, but they were okay with making a film that explored these ideas. You also have Last Temptation of Christ. Lisa says, I love Silence. Yes, I know, because we watched it together and I introduced it to you. So you're welcome. No, honestly, I love Silence. It's in like my top 10 films of all time. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch Silence. Yes, I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's definitely challenging, and I highly recommend it. The Last Temptation of Christ also, I think, fits into this category, although same director and everything, but I do not agree with what the movie is saying, whatever the movie is trying to say. I really tried to like it, but I just couldn't get into it. But I think that's the kind of movie that fits into that category. You also have the film Mother. That's a Darren Aronofsky film with Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. That's a movie that I like mostly, but it doesn't. Its conclusions that it comes to in the end of the movie I do not like. So it's the kind of movie that you need to watch with a grain of salt. I like some of the things that it does, but it's a very interesting film. It's a very like art house type of film, and it explores a lot of ideas of like, the history of the world and the Bible, and it's a pretty decent allegory for the most part, except for the end of the movie. It's not really. You can tell that this is written and directed by someone who isn't necessarily a Christian, but is exploring these ideas. Speaking of Darren Aronofsky, I would actually fit Noah into this category, not because I don't like Noah. I did not like that movie, but the reason why it fits into there is because it's such a different interpretation of the story, and that's why it fits into there, because it's a movie that's not trying to tell the story from the Bible, it's trying to tell its own interpretation of it. Some people would also probably fit the film First Reformed, although I would say that the purpose of that film is not really to explore Christian concepts rather than to criticize it. So I've just heard people who aren't really Christians who say, when they're asked what's a good Christian movie, they would say First Reformed. But it's not really. I mean, it's an okay movie. It's made well, but I couldn't really get into the script. Anyway, so those are the three categories of Christian movies that I have made for myself. And so I'm going to try to be a little bit more clear about what I mean when I talk about Christian movies. Usually when I say that Christian movies are not great, I liked Noah all right, though it had no God figure. I would wonder how long it's been since you've seen it. Because it changes a lot of things, and like if you actually look into some research of the movie, it's pretty messed up actually. Because you kind of realize that Darren Aronofsky put some pretty Gnostic beliefs into it. And yeah, I mean, it's made well, I think. I don't know if it's aged well in terms of its special effects and such. But I mean, it's fine if you like it, but yeah, it's rough. Even if you don't care about the Bible, people who aren't even Christians don't like Noah, really, and not for the same reasons that Christians don't like it. So yeah. Usually when I say that Christian movies suck, I'm talking about the first category. Movies made by Christians, made by a Christian studio, mostly acted by Christians. I think there are some of those that where actors just want a paycheck. And those, you have your God's Not Deads, I'm Not Ashamed, To Save a Life, all those. Lisa says, it made me think about the story in all its gory detail. I don't care for Emma Watson, though. That's true. Lisa does not care for Emma Watson. I think she's fine. But then again, I am a male. I am a guy. And everyone at one point had their crush on Emma Watson. But every normie man had their crush on Emma Watson. But yeah, she is a very odd casting for Emma Watson in that movie. You got Russell Crowe, Emma Watson, and Jennifer Connelly in there, and it's just like, those are just picks to get people in the theater seats. Although I do like Russell Crowe, and I wish that he would be in good movies these days. Him and Mel Gibson. Those are two like action star actors that I miss. Mostly just out of jealousy is why I don't care for Emma, Lisa says. Oh, you don't need to be jealous. Nothing to be jealous of. You're amazing, just the way you are. Anyways, so that was my long rant about Christian movies, and I think, yeah, now is about time for a break. Need to get to a break, and then we will come back and we will actually talk about the video that I made. So we will be, I forgot to change the video for the, whatever. This production is chaotic and we need to get into a break. We'll see you guys. Don't go away. We're just going to an ad break right now and see you in just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just going off to buy some cigarettes from the store. Don't go away, Sonny. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. So I wanted to talk about. Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to talk about one of my proudest moments in editing, and I'm sorry to all of you listening on audio. I always hate it when I'm listening to a podcast and they do something that only the viewers can watch, but I'm gonna have to do it. I have to do it for this show. I want to talk about like one of my proudest editing moments that I've ever done, and it's mostly because Mitchell pushed me to do it while we were recording for, while we were watching and recording our commentary to Extreme Days. He did this to me, and while I was editing, I'm like, challenge accepted, you know? And so I did it. I was able to do it. I'm very proud of myself. So, here it is.
I like this guy. He looks like I need to show you a picture. He looks exactly like him.
Okay. Yeah, Mitchell was talking the whole time about how this guy looked like
my gosh,
the guy from Big Time Rush.
Yeah,
You have to put a picture of. You got to put up a comparison picture right now. This is the edit.
Right now.
Now zoom in on his.
He does
face.
look like him.
Zoom in on his nose.
Here it is.
Put a finger up his nose.
Oh gosh.
Now pick it.
You're asking a lot of me because you know I'm editing.
Now recreate the ending of Endgame in MS Paint.
Okay, let's talk about that. First of all, it was a challenge for me to do the edit because I'd never animated anything. Well, I mean, I've done simple animations on my videos before where I just like moved something across the screen. I didn't really do it that much because it was it took too much work. So anytime I tried to avoid stuff like that. But I'd never moved anything around, and I actually was able to use it for another edit later on, to save a life. And for those of you who are listening, I did exactly what Mitchell wanted me to do. I zoomed in on the guy from Big Time Rush's face. Big Time Rush was Big Time Rush, right? I zoomed in on his face, and I took a picture of a guy pointing his finger, and I stuck it up the guy's nose in the picture. And then I moved it around to make it look like it was picking it. And I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never moved something around like that. And I was very proud of myself of how it looked. I had to do, I had to do some research of how to do that, and I learned it, and now I know how to do it. So thanks, Mitchell. And I was able to use it later. But of course, he also challenged me to recreate the end of
now recreate the ending of Endgame.
Endgame.
In MS Paint.
In MS Paint. So I actually did this. This was my work. So you can actually, there is a website version. There's an online version of MS Paint, and it's free. So I just went there, and I looked up a picture for Endgame, and I tried to replicate it as best as I could, but I eventually just got tired of it. I'm like, I can only do 4 characters. Like, I couldn't even do all of them. It's like, because I don't like drawing things. I get tired of it very easily. But right there, I did that, and I did the worst job that I could do. It's like, see, there's Iron Man, there's Spider-Man in his blue pants and red long sleeve shirt, turtleneck, and mask. That's what it looks like. Iron Man, Thanos looks like a bozo. That's supposed to be his sword. And there's one of his guys, and I just decided to draw on him Team Thanos. So I'm very proud of this. This is a work of art. I've printed this and I put it on my refrigerator. Just kidding, I didn't do that. But yeah, thanks Mitchell for doing that.
Paint him and
Yeah, so that's one of my proudest moments. Let's see. And if this isn't a chance to, if this isn't a way to motivate you guys to just go watch the video, then who was that? Whatever that was, I just missed it. It was a. I'm not used to alerts on this thing. If anyone subscribed or whatever. Oh, Debbie Hopper has liked the video. Thanks, Debbie. I have alerts now on this show, and I have alerts now on this show, and I don't know what all of them are. So, but yeah, thanks, Debbie. She's watching on Facebook, so you can watch on Facebook now if you want. And I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I want to show the other little animated thing that I did. That because of Mitchell, I was able to do it. I learned how to do it. And I'm pretty proud of myself. Where is it?
everything cool, you know, and
Yeah.
which I mean, even though he's just
You guys can hear it,
unrealistically
right?
So like,
Yeah.
I guess resilient to not break
Okay, that's not what I want.
all that in a couple days. Low point again.
Yeah,
But-
he gets mad at the.
I should have clips ready, but I was too
Was
lazy.
A little like maybe just
Doesn't everything just look
Kinda
so nice and
interested.
clean?
like annoying, you know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it'd be pretty tolerable. I still
Thanks,
don't
Debbie.
think you could like show this to someone. If you did,
Debbie
it would
just
be
gave a thumbs up and a heart.
The
All right, good.
pastor's kid.
Okay, here we go.
who, like, is the devil spawned somehow.
Yeah.
He's just like needlessly bad, and
Yeah.
he's kind of evil, and just wants to see the world burn.
There it is.
For kind of guy. He's like,
It's not perfect, I know, because for those of you who are listening, I'm sorry, I'm so congested today. For those of you who are just listening, I took a clip from The Dark Knight of Heath Ledger when he's in front of the burning pile of money, and I placed this pastor's kid character's head on it, you know, so that it looks like him. And you can still kind of see Heath Ledger's like hair. So yeah. Let's see if there's any other moments that I'm really proud of. Just getting this chance to brag on myself. Oh, I do love this little moment. It's not even like that huge of a deal. When we were talking about Blue Like Jazz, it's a classroom scene, and I made a God's Not Dead joke saying that Kevin Sorbo was coming in and he was going to do his lecture from God's Not Dead.
he was gonna like make her straight or something, and that was gonna be the
Too tiny as now.
Let's see.
we just met, and she's talking about this girl she's
Isn't her
attracted
butt
to.
just crazy?
Kevin Sorbo comes
There
out.
it is.
Yeah.
Want you to write down 3 words. God is dead.
It just turns into God's Not Dead for like literally just that movie starts playing.
Yeah.
I just like how in the video it looks like that he's actually in there in the scene with them, just the way that it was cut. and everything. I really like that, and it was a funny joke. I like it. Um, God is dead. God's not dead. He's surely alive, living on the inside, roaring like a lion. A lion. Wow, why did I pronounce that so weird? Anyways, so by the way, if you guys have any questions at all regarding the video, feel free to leave it in the chat. Any thoughts or questions that you had about the goodest of the bad, or about Extreme Days, or To Save a Life, or Blue Like Jazz. It was a very interesting conversation, and like we said in the video, not what we expected, not what I expected at least. I expected Blue Like Jazz to be the best of the worst, so to speak. But after watching it, it was just, unfortunately, not as good as I remembered it, and which makes a bit of sense because Blue Like Jazz is kind of like, and no insult to anyone who actually likes that movie, but for me, it's kind of like, baby's first indie Christian movie. It's it's edgy, but if you want to be edgy, you need to have some sort of substance to your film, and there just didn't seem to be a whole lot of substance. And I think Mitchell was right in a lot of his criticisms when it came to how shallow and cartoony all the characters seemed. But at the same time, you couldn't really tell what the movie was trying to say. So, I mean, maybe it's more clear in the book, but at times it kind of seemed like, so Blue Like Jazz, this Christian kid decides to go to a secular college and basically not tell anyone that he's a Christian, and he stops acting like a Christian. And it's like they're trying to make like non-believers and such be seem like, you know what, people who aren't Christians aren't that bad, actually. They're kind of cool. It seemed like that's what he was trying to say, but it painted the characters in such a way that they weren't likable, and they're so shallow, so that it's like, wait, so are you saying that they're not so bad, or are you saying that like this is what all non-believers are like? Because it did really seem like it was a Christian trying to show what non-Christians are like, and trying to, I mean, it's almost seemed like it was trying to justify a lot of the edginess that was in the movie, like with the lesbian character being in the boys' bathroom and all that. I mean, just the lesbian character in general, and like all the behavior that they do. It's almost like, it almost seemed like it was trying to say, this isn't so bad. Christians don't need to be so uptight, because the Christians were also depicted in such a shallow way that you're like, oh, it's trying to show that Christians are just uptight people who don't know what the real world is like, and they're ignorant, so they paint the Christians in a bad light. And it's just a bit unclear, and the main character is super unlikable and hard to relate to, and hard to want to, understand, because Ron, that's his name, is such a, we talk about it and we even say this word a lot in the video, but Ron is such a fickle character that he, like, any little thing changes his mind. Like the fact that, you know, in the movie, his mom has an affair with the children's pastor / youth pastor. And so that causes him, Ron, to leave and hate all Christians, which I don't even understand why, because he's the kind of person that is like allowing other people to influence his faith. He's like, all Christians are such hypocrites. But like, if you weren't a Christian, you wouldn't have that standard to, you know, you wouldn't have that standard to compare them to. And so he starts acting, I mean, I don't know if he actually like leaves his faith, but he stops acting like a Christian, and he, you know, acts like that he's, you know, that he doesn't like Christianity in front of all of his, you know, non-believing friends at this secular college. And then once he finds out that this girl that he likes is actually a Christian, whoa, all of a sudden things start to change for him. So it's like, how are we supposed to rely on you as a main character and as a narrator? And so, yeah, those were our main frustrations with the movie. And it's such a shame because, like, it is aside from the weird CGI moments in the movie, it is a weird moments, but it's a well-made movie and it looks good. The color grading is good. The cinematography is pretty decent. Steve Taylor, you know, he's not a bad filmmaker. He just doesn't know how to tell a story. Except when he directs Newsboys Down Under the Big Top. But I still stand by the fact that Extreme Days was the best movie to pick for this video. Because I have a lot of respect for movies that they just don't care. You know, it's a movie that just wants to have fun, and for the most part, it does a pretty good job at it. There are weird moments. You know, I'm not saying that this movie is great. This movie is like a 6 out of 10 for me, but that's still a positive rating. And I still have like a lot of love for the movie, mostly because, like, you know, I grew up watching it, and it's you know, I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it, so I'm never going to hate this movie or dislike it just because it's, you know, it has those memories attached to them. Me and my sister at times quote that movie. One of our favorites is guys, for the love of donuts, let's go. Which, by the way, you can watch Extreme Days on YouTube for free. The whole thing is on there. And yeah, it just doesn't care really about what it is. Like, it takes itself a little seriously at times, especially with the romantic moments of the movie. But I just love all the stupid stuff that's in it, because it is stupid, but I think it knows that it's stupid. I don't think that the filmmaker really cared. He just wanted to make a fun movie, and thought, like, oh, I guess I got to slap some serious stuff on here. I guess I got to put a Christian message in it. Because yeah, if you edit out like just a few scenes from the movie, you wouldn't really be able to tell whether it's a Christian movie. And I kind of like that. I like how this is the kind of movie that you can just turn on for everyone. And I know I said this in the video, but I'll just say it again. You can turn this movie on for anyone, and people would be like, oh, wow, this is such a weird, crazy movie, and it's kind of funny. But it's not a movie that, like, preaches to anyone. It's more like, hey, here's this like neat package, this fun movie. I mean, maybe I'm saying this is probably in the intentions of the filmmaker. I don't know. They're like, hey, here's this fun road trip movie. Also, there's a little bit of God in it, so it can like start some conversations. To Save a Life is not as easy of a movie to put on for people. It has good intentions, but from what I've seen, this movie has a lot of negative reviews. And I'm sure most of those are non-believers, but you know, there's a reason for that because it comes off as a bit preachy and I don't know, maybe at times a bit unrealistic. Nah, quite a lot actually. Quite a few times it comes off as unrealistic. And you know, it takes itself too seriously at times, and like the music is really bad and corny, and you know, the acting's not always great. But the thing about To Save a Life is that it's not as bad as it could have been. I think it handles itself pretty well. It's not great. And I think it was like a 5 out of 10 for me. I used to love that movie. Which is why it was the only movie of the 3 that I actually owned on Blu-ray. It was the first Blu-ray I ever owned, actually. I don't know. I was just such a big fan of it, and I wanted to be Randy Wayne. I wanted to be Jake, the main character in it. I just thought he was so cool, and like he was so, you know, I don't know. But now it's like I don't think I think I'm good for not watching it ever again, really. I think I've got everything I need to get out of it. And the last thing I needed to get out of it was to put it in this video. Or in that video. And Blue Like Jazz, you could put on for anyone, especially people who like indie films and like thought-provoking films, whether they're Christian or not. But I can see a lot of people end up like finish the movie and be pretty upset with it. So that's why, to me, Extreme Days was a pretty obvious choice, but admittedly not as much, you know, it's not that much better than these movies. The only reason why Blue Like Jazz would be a 5 out of 10 is because of its technical achievements. Just because it looks good. And it has a good soundtrack. And it has some decent performances. And it's a well-made movie for the most part. It's just its script that's the problem, really. And that's what makes it so unique from these 3 films, is that its flaws are not in the fact that it's like a cheesy Christian movie. Its flaws are in its ideas and how it executes them. So, yeah. I think that there's a movie out there, a Christian movie, that is better than Extreme Days. Actually, you know, I know what it already is, but this is just my opinion. It's Newsboys Down Under the Big Top. You know, that movie isn't it's another example. It's like Extreme Days in the fact that it's just trying to have fun, but I think it does a much better job at it. Does a much better job at it, and it's not a badly made film at all. I'd say like its cinematography is pretty good. The color grading, you know, a lot of the same qualities that Blue Like Jazz has. I'm sorry. more more texts. I'm gonna mute this for now. Please don't forget to unmute the audio. So yeah, those are my afterthoughts of the video, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the video that I wanted to address. Any scenes that I liked that I wanted to revisit. Oh, one little thing. It was at the end of our discussion of To Save a Life. Here we go. Is when I struggled to remember Remy there I go again. Sam Raimi's name. Director Sam Raimi of Spider-Man fame.
Sam
Yeah.
Alex.
Spider-Man scene. He's like, hey, MJ.
This is Spider-Man 4. This
Yeah.
is Remy Malek's Remy Malek. Sam Raimi.
Oh my lord! Holy, that was like
Sam Raimi Malek.
So Remy Malek is an actor. He played his most famous role. I think that's where he got his Oscar. He got an Oscar for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury in the Bohemian Rhapsody film. I know him from Mr. Robot, though. And he's also from Night at the Museum. Also from The Master, great film from Paul Thomas Anderson. But he doesn't really have a big part in that. But I found this website where you could mix pictures of two people and it would come out as like what their child would look like, basically. And so this picture, I don't know if it's like super obvious to everyone, but I put it in anyways. But it's Remy Malek mixed in with Sam Raimi right there. And it's like a weird mixture of both of their facial features put into one. You can see in the hair, the top here, that it's a little messed up there, messed up around here. But I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I did. I found this website and I took a picture of Remy Malek and the picture of Sam Raimi and put it together, and they made this Sam Raimi Malek. So I thought that was funny. Trying to think if there's anything else. Steven Crowder being in the movie is pretty To Save a Life is pretty interesting because, he's not really an actor anymore. Like, he acts in his own stuff, but people forget that he tried to pursue some acting in his earlier years. And it's funny because I remember I'd seen To Save a Life multiple times actually. And then I come across a Steven Crowder videos, one of his Change My Mind videos, and I'd never watched him before. I think it was one of his There Are Only Two Genders video, Change My Mind. And I remember watching it and being like, this guy seems really familiar. Who is he? Like, how do I know him? And then I look him up and I realize, oh, he was the douchebag on To Save a Life. Great casting. I mean, I like Steven Crowder. And there's a moment where Mitchell makes fun of Steven Crowder, saying that, like, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, he was the most annoying character on the show. But I think Mitchell knows that I actually watch Steven Crowder from time to time. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I think that's it. If you guys had any questions at all about the goodest of the bad, feel free to leave it in the chats. Any questions at all? I don't know whether I'm going to be doing it again. I didn't plan on making it a regular series. I'm not really doing series anymore. Like my Christian pop song reviews, I don't really do those anymore. Or album reviews. I just do what I want to do. If I want a video to be an album review, I'm going to do it. What would you say is the baddest of the goodest of the bad? It's from Lisa. Baddest of the goodest of the bad. And then my brain just explodes. It's too early for this, man. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. It's too early. Well, I mean, if that's a serious question, and if you're talking about the videos that we did in the movies that we talked about in this video, I think I've been pretty obvious that Blue Like Jazz is the worst of them. Sadly enough. And for reasons I've already explained. It's just disappointing. Just not a great script at all. Not great character development. It needs work. That's the baddest of the goodest of the baddest of the good. You know? I see the reason why I don't know if I want to do this again is because, and I explained it at the end of the video, is that the thing that all these movies had in common was that at one point I saw them at some point in my life and thought that this is pretty good for a Christian movie. This is better than your Fireproofs or your Facing the Giants because, you know, Extreme Days, it's like a fun movie with fart jokes in it, and To Save a Life is like edgy because they cuss in it and they talk about real issues, and Blue Like Jazz is great because it pushes the boundaries of movies and like talks about things that normal Christians don't like, which I think there was a point in my life where I agreed with the Blue Like Jazz's sentiment, but I think I've changed in a lot of ways. But I don't really know of any other movies like that. Where I thought something like that. I mean, there was one point where I actually did like Facing the Giants, but I saw that when I was like 11. And that was a point in my life where I was only just like, I'd not even been to a movie theater. Well, it's actually probably around that time that I went to my first movie theater. I saw The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I don't know. There was that what was it? That Hard Flip movie that Mitchell just mentioned at the beginning that I want us to watch together and just do like a commentary, not like a baddest of the goodest of the bad. Sorry. I do that from time to time. It's not the baddest of the good, it's the goodest of the bad. I want to watch that Hard Flip movie because, excuse me, it has the two guys from To Save a Life. It has the main guy, Jake, and it also has the actor who plays the emo kid, who has he's in the back of the police car of To Save a Life. It has both of those actors in it. And I'm like, this looks amazing. It might not be. It might be terrible. But I want us to watch it, and I want me and Mitchell to do a commentary on it. I don't know of any other movies, though, to justify doing another full video like this. Plus, since it took so much effort, like I don't know how many times I can ask Chad to borrow his basement Well, his studio. Sorry. I don't know how many times I can do that, and if I were to do that, I'd want to be sure that like my computer could handle it. But I don't know. I'll never say never, but I don't see it becoming a thing in the future. But I'm always down to do fun things with Mitchell. I love doing stuff with him. Those are some of my funniest videos, honestly, is doing like the commentaries with him and such. I love the WoW 2000s video that I did with him. That was super fun. I want to do stuff like that. So, which in fact, I think there were moments in watching some of these movies that didn't get to make it in the video, which is too bad because like I remember them being really funny. It just didn't fit in with the video and I couldn't find a way to make them fit in. Favorite character in Blue Like Jazz? Thank you, Lisa, for that question. I know I said in the video that the Pope guy, and I can never remember his name. I don't even know if they said his name. The Pope guy I said was my favorite just because he was like the most fun, even though like he was the most like hardcore atheist and like one of the most cartoony characters in the movie. I guess I just liked the actor. I liked his performance. He did the best they could. But I started to realize that there's one underrated character that I wish that they what's the word that I want? I wish that they worked with more and like developed his character more. I think that we might have shown him. I don't know, that's the Kevin Sorbo thing. But he's the Russian dude who like I guess he wasn't like totally Christian. He was just agnostic.
Being like super like personally offended or anything. I just think it's so like jarring and weird. I'm more just because like it didn't make me angry. It just like confused me.
I'm gonna keep trying to find his clip, but he's this Russian dude that was always in their little small group sessions talking about God, and like he had an interesting stance because he wasn't completely atheist. He was a bit more open, and he had a history because his family was like, you know, he had family members that were like killed by Stalin or something or whatever. But like they didn't expand on his character enough. Sorry, I'll mute it so that it's not talking over me. They didn't expand his character enough, and I wish that they did. I think it would have been a lot more interesting. But all they really did with him was, sorry to show that vomiting scene right there. I can't find it. It's gonna take forever for me to find it. I think it would have made the movie a lot more interesting, and all they really did was made him a bad guy. Like they made him the guy in the bear suit who like stole Ron's unicycle and whatever. And then in the end, when Ron is in the confession booth as the Pope, you know, when he's apologizing to people for his hypocrisy, the Russian guy comes in and there's the reveal that he was the guy in the bear suit. I know this. This movie is a little quirky at times. And Ron's like, "Oh, yay, I get to apologize to him, and like that's where the movie ends. That's all they did with the character, and I think he was my favorite character, even though he was very undeveloped. I think he was one of the biggest tragedies of the movie. If they had expanded on his character, I think that it would have been a lot more interesting. But they didn't. Everyone had to be a hardcore Christian. Anyone who's had more screen time had to be a hardcore Christian. But they just made the Russian guy just some angry Russian guy. So, yeah. I think he was Russian. Somewhere around there. Maybe he was Ukrainian. I don't know. But, yeah. So, that's all I can really think about to talk about for this video. If you guys have any more questions, I will address them. I also wanted to mention, so I promised that I would talk about this when the news came out about Caedmon's Call, and it has come out, and it turns out that we were pretty much right, mostly right. It turned out that the announcement that Caedmon's Call had, so for those of you who don't know, just a few weeks ago, Caedmon's Call said that they had an announcement to make. And it's this big deal because Caedmon's Call hasn't made any music for years, and they were making illusions that it had something to do with their self-titled album. Their first self-titled album, which is no longer in print, and it's not on streaming services or anything. And so people knew that it had something to do with that, with the things that they were posting and hinting at. And so now the announcement is out, and it turns out that the announcement was a Kickstarter to remake and re-record the self-titled album. And so they're going to make vinyls and such of it, and release it all over. So that was like one of my guesses, is that that's what it was going to be, that they were going to remake the album, which I don't know. I kind of wish that re-releasing the original would be cool too. Because that's kind of what I want. Like, I'll listen to a remade album, but I'm interested to hear what it would sound like. But yeah, so that's what it is. And they published the Kickstarter, and they're already 200% funded, which is great. And you can still donate to it if you want to. Just go to their Facebook, you'll probably find it, or go to their website. Oh, sorry. So that's what's happening with Caedmon's Call. They're remaking their self-titled album, so that should be cool. More updates on that, just like when that comes out. I'm sure I'll be listening to it and giving it a music review. So I have fulfilled my promise. Okay, so I had some music reviews, and then I totally forgot to update the pictures that that I have here. So I'm going to be quickly, you know what? Let's just forget about that. We're going to I'm just gonna show it up here. I'm just gonna go to the pictures themselves right now. Some quick music reviews. So John Mark McMillan, of course. I feel like every episode I come out with, he has some new song. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this song, I'll admit, because it only just came out. Or at least I only just started listening to it. And it's called ooh, don't show that. That's private. So Awaken the Dream by John Mark McMillan. It's a good jam. It's pretty decent. Check it out. My brain, I'm just out of it today. I apologize, guys. But Awaken the Dream, Awake in the Dream, not Awaken the Dream, is a pretty good song. And I don't, my interpretation of the lyrics is that he's talking about how his friends are changing. And that is something that I relate to a lot. I feel like everyone around me is like changing their faith, whatever. And so I wonder if that's like what he is alluding to in this track. Just and so yeah, it's a good bop. Awaken the Dream. We also got Front Porch Step. For anyone who's not familiar with Front Porch Step, he started out as a secular artist. He was like this emo acoustic guy, and then he got saved. And it's a really interesting story about him. I'm interested in doing like a documentary about him because there's some crazy stories. But he has this new song called Walk You Home, and it's just a simple voice and guitar song, but he's got a good voice and he's a good songwriter. And basically the gist of the whole song is that he's talking about, he had a history of, playing around, and being with women a lot. That's kind of a part of his story, his testimony. And the song is basically about how God has, changed him and how he no longer has a need for that in his life. And I think the song is about like pursuing an honest and pure relationship with someone now that, after being saved. And so, yeah, it's a really interesting track, and I recommend you guys check it out. That's all I'm really going to talk about. John Van Dusen also has a few new tracks, but I'm not ready to really give an opinion on that. But I liked what I heard, so you guys can check it out because he's still coming out with his album, part 4 of his I Am Origami album series. So yeah, he's got a couple new singles, and you guys should check those out because I like John Van Dusen, and I don't remember hating the tracks. I'm just not ready to give my official opinion on it. So, I guess one thing I wanted to talk about was what before I go is what's next for me. Because I'm still doing this show bi-weekly, but I still want to do the actual I'm Clifford Today videos, like the edited ones that I work on for months, like the Goodest of the Bad, or my my other videos that I've done, like the Bethel Elevation and Hillsong one that I did, and the how I actually feel about Christian music today. I've got a lot of ideas for videos that I want to work on and actually edit. And so now that I'm done with the goodest of the bad, I think what I'm going to do is start working on 2 videos simultaneously. Mostly because they're 2 very different videos. One of them happens to be a documentary video, and documentary videos can take a while to, to research and get all the material and content that I need. And so I can do that while working on another video. So the documentary that I want to work on, I'm actually pretty excited to attempt to make. Hopefully, I feel like I have enough content to make this video. But I want to do a documentary about a mini documentary, so to speak, about John James, the former lead singer, the original lead singer of the Newsboys. And I want to tell his story. I want to tell his testimony. Because for those of you who aren't familiar, John James left the Newsboys because he had developed a substance addiction. I'm pretty sure it was alcohol. It might have been drugs as well. But yeah, he went down that path, and almost ruined his life. But God was able to save him, and I want to tell that story. And I'm pretty excited because you guys know that I'm a fan of old school Newsboys, so I think that would be pretty fun. And that was kind of inspired. Lisa helped inspire that idea. So that's what I want to start doing research on. There's like a ton of videos of John James giving his testimony, and so I've got to like weed through all of that and like pick the parts that I like and get all the content that I need to make the video interesting. And so that's something that I want to start working on, and I'm really excited about. The other video, which you guys will probably see sooner, that I want to work on is it's an idea that I had. So there are 2 bands that I like, that I listen to. They're a big part of my, growing up as a Christian teen, and I still jam to every so often today. And they were both formerly Tooth and Nail bands at one point. One is Showbread, the other is The Chariot. And both of those bands disbanded a little while ago. But one thing that they have in common, other than being like in the same label and the same kind of genre of music, is that they both decided to end their careers as their timeline as a band with arguably their best albums, I think. Definitely with The Chariot. One Wing, I think, is their best album. Showbread is Show Dead, is the album that Showbread ended with. And I think that could be their best album. I mean, I still love No Sir, Nihilism is Not Practical. This is a great album. I need to revisit their whole discography, honestly. That's one of the things that I'll do to prepare for the album. But either way, I think sorry. I think that both bands were pretty similar in having this idea to end their careers with their best album. And I kind of want to compare those 2 albums. And so I thought it'd be an interesting idea for a quick video, and So I think that could be fun. So those are the videos I think that I'm going to work on. And I think yeah, so stay tuned for those. I've given myself a little bit of break after finishing the Goodest of the Bad. And I do want to make sure that my computer is like working fine for me to be able to edit. If not, I might just wait until I'm able to purchase a better computer. We'll see. I'll make sure that it's not too long of a wait. So, yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. Thanks for bearing with me on this really chaotic show today. I'm going to try to be more professional in the future. A lot of new things going on, you know. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to mention. So on Twitch, if you guys missed it, Lisa says I had my first meat. Yay! You ate my leftover pad thai. That was still there? I guess it's only been a week since I was there. Sorry, for those of you just tuning in, Lisa's my girlfriend, and I was over there at her place a while ago. Lisa's been on a diet. Well, she's been doing the 75 hard challenge. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. A part of that, she's been on this vegetarian diet. She hasn't had meat for 75 days. And she finished it, and so she had her first taste of meat in 75 days. She ate my leftover pad thai from a week ago. So, yay. Congratulations, Lisa. I'm super proud of you. You got through it. You actually stuck to it, which I'm sure there's a big percentage of people that don't finish that thing. So, great job. Proud of you. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So last night I did a bit of an impromptu stream. I did it on YouTube, and it was on Twitch, and it was on Facebook. I didn't save it on YouTube because I don't want that content cluttering my channel. But it's on Twitch, and it's on Facebook. Lisa says, time to eat tacos at Ancho. Yay! Yeah, Ancho and Agave is her favorite restaurant here in Bloomington. We love that restaurant. So since I'm streaming on Twitch, I've learned that to remain relevant on Twitch, you have to have a pretty steady schedule. So I thought, like, well, I'm only doing this show every other week. I'm not gonna change that at this point. Stronghold, yes. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna think of ways to have some interesting content for Twitch specifically. You know, and do something that's easy for me to do, something that I don't have to edit for YouTube or anything. So I decided, you know, even though I'm not much of a gamer, I can play some games that I really enjoy, like Stronghold. And so I did have like a graphic made for this announcement, but I don't have it ready here. So I'm doing Stronghold streams on Twitch, and I did it last night just like as a test to test this new streaming software that can do multi-streams, like to multiple platforms. So, but I think I don't know if I'm going to be streaming to all the platforms. I know if I stream to YouTube, I'm not going to save the videos because I don't, like I said, I don't want those cluttering my content. I don't want I'm Clifford Today to be a gaming channel. But for Twitch, it's fine. It's just like a chill. It's going to be a chill hangout, you know, because Stronghold is such a chill game. So if you guys are interested and if you guys are on Twitch, you can follow me. Twitch.com/I'm Clifford Today. Give me a follow, you know, or a subscription, whatever. Give me a subscription. And I'm doing Stronghold streams. As far as I know, I'm doing them every Tuesday night and every Thursday night. And I'm shooting for 5 p.m. my time, Chicago time. So whatever time that is for you. I'm going to be making more announcements about this. I'm going to be pushing it a little bit more. But yeah, I'm shooting for Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. That's Stronghold streams. And I'm playing through the military campaign. And then I'm just going to go on from there once I finish it. I just think it'll just be fun. It'll be a fun time to hang out, even if you guys aren't even really familiar with the game. It's just a strategy castle sim game. I just think it'd be a good time for us to hang out. So if you guys are on Twitch, go check it out. And I also think that this is a good way to like bring in a bigger audience to this show, because I'll also be promoting my show on there. So yeah, I'm super excited. I think it's just going to be something fun that I like to do, and it's just going to be fun. And I'm also going to think of other things to do on Twitch other than Stronghold, because I can do music streams where I'm working on my music, maybe editing streams, as long as I don't get content like copyright stricken over there. We'll see. So follow me, twitch.com/I'm Clifford Today. And if you're watching on Twitch right now, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'm Clifford Today, youtube.com/I'm Clifford Today. You know, I think that's it. I think we're going to call that a show. Next episode, I think I'm going to talk about the Jesus Music documentary. I'm going to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. It's on Hulu. I'm going to watch it, and I want to talk about it. Hopefully it's interesting enough for me to talk about, because otherwise I just told a lie. But we'll see. Sorry, that started out louder than it's supposed to. Well, we're going to call that an episode. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a review, and I will give you a shout out on the show. We will read your review on the show. Also, you can leave a rating on Spotify now. Check out questions and polls that I have on Spotify on every episode. So you can participate in that, and we'll talk about it in the next episode. Podwood Forecast is the other podcast that I do with my friend Mitchell. So if you liked The Goodest of the Bad, you can check out Podwood Forecast. We recently did an episode on Batman movies. It was really fun. And soon enough, we're going to do an episode on the movie's American Movie. It's a documentary. And also the movie A Simple Plan, directed by Sam Raimi. So be sure to check out the Podwood Forecast on all podcast platforms. And also be sure to like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for the next video that I'm going to do. Really excited. And just don't forget that I'm Clifford Today, and you're not. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.